Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Her Story podcast presented by Chamber Fayetteville to help promote the Women of All Generations event. I am excited for our next conversation we're having today with Beth Pittman. Beth, thanks so much for joining us on the podcast today.
Thanks for having me, Sammy. I'm excited to be here.
I think it's going to be good. Before we jump in too far, if there's anybody who doesn't know you or maybe not had the chance to interact with you, can you give us like 30 to 60 seconds, a little bit about who you are and the work that you're involved in?
So my name is Beth Pittman. I've been a recruiter in the area for over 20 years. I have a company called Skills Lab Training, and we do recruiting, third party recruiting. We do executive coaching. We do leadership development. We do training and development programs, and we do career coaching for individuals. So that's kind of a little bit about what we do.
I love it. And how long have you been in Northwest Arkansas?
So I moved to Northwest Arkansas back in the 1900s, is what my kids
Ancient
would say.
times.
Yes. So I started with Walmart. I moved to Northwest Arkansas. I'm from Arkansas, but I didn't live in Northwest Arkansas. So I started at Walmart in 1997. So I've been
Okay.
here since then.
Nice. It's practically a native at this point.
I,
Like
I
if you
really
were
feel like
here,
it's my town. This is my area. Yes,
I
I
like
do.
it. Okay, well, since we're on the topic of it, Fayetteville and Northwest Arkansas is something about it that just continues to attract more and more people here. What's your theory? What do you think it is that brings so many people here?
Well, I think it still feels like a small town. You see a lot of college students that are going to college at the U of A and then they want to stay. And
Mhm.
so I think the vibe feels really good. You have a little bit of everything. You can drive, 20 minutes north and work for a very large organization and then still be able to make it to your kids, you know, high school assembly or track meet or whatever you need to do. So the opportunity for different types of living is really important to a lot of people. And I think this area offers a lot of that.
I think that that is like right on point. We have a little bit of everything.
A little bit of
Kind of
everything.
whoever you are, you can find something for you.
Yep.
As we continue to grow and as Northwest Arkansas is continuing to expand, is there anything that you hope like we don't lose along the way? What do you hope kind of can stay special about it?
When I first moved to the area, I used to recruit people to move to this area. And I can remember people coming from very large metropolitan areas saying, my children take violin lessons. Who teaches that or which school offers that? And I had to do a lot of research to find out which schools offered that and then would refer them to those schools. And so I have always felt like we're a small town with big ambitions. And so I hope we don't lose that. I hope there's always a connection, a couple of phone calls and I can find what you're looking for. And so we've seen how Northwest Arkansas, like a child, has grown up, was small. And then every phase that they're in, I just think it's more exciting. I love this phase that we're in now. We're continuing to grow, but we still feel like a small town sometimes.
I like that. I think that's so true. I think some people say it's the biggest small town you'll ever live
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. Well, can you take us back in your own story? Where did your career start and kind of how did your journey play out? Did you always know you were going to be in recruiting or how'd you
Yeah.
find yourself
No.
there?
I started out working at Walmart in the legal department. I thought I wanted to be an attorney. And so I got the opportunity to go to work for Walmart and I was a paralegal for them. And I loved it. I thought it was great. But I didn't think I wanted to be an attorney. So, I was kind of heads down working. I did work with a lot of other people in many different departments. And so, one of the things that we did was hire attorneys to represent us. So, we managed a caseload with an attorney, and then we would hire attorneys to recommend us. And one day I was working with someone in another department, and he said, I think you would be a really good recruiter. You should look at this job that's open. And I said, I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, I didn't even understand it. I started looking into it. I interviewed for the job and got it. And then I was like, okay, I have found what I love. Like, I love helping people find jobs. You help somebody with a new career, they really can change their life. And so I found that I was really good at that. I worked at Walmart for 7 years, and then I came out and worked for a small little third-party company that did all different types of recruiting, and then the last 15 years before I started my own company, I was with another firm here that did consumer product goods recruiting and really got to be involved with retail and consumer goods and just really loved it. And so we saw a lot of people reach out to us and say, "Hey, you helped me get ready for that interview. Could you help little Johnny who's going to school or little Susie just graduated? Could you help them interview?" And so I said, yeah. So that's how Skills Lab started, was kind of a little side hustle where we would help students, college graduates, prepare for their interview. And then we started coaching with the University of Arkansas, the Walton College. I had a great relationship with them. And then once I started doing this full time, it became my full time hustle. Companies started asking us for, hey, we don't have a training program. It was right coming through COVID. The last man standing got promoted, and so there was no training. So we developed a training program, soft skills training, how to be a good leader, things like that. And a lot of organizations have sent their people through it. So we have really enjoyed that. We still do recruiting. That is something that is second nature. My business partner, Christy Martin, and I have worked together at Walmart. We worked at our last firm together, and then we really wanted to start something together. And she is one of the best business partners I could ever have. I mean, she's fabulous. Our mission and vision is to help people in their next career move, whatever that may be. It could be internal, it could be external. They might just need some leadership development. And so we really created our business around that aspect of it, is how to help that person get to the next step on their career. And that's kind of where we are today.
I feel like along the way, it almost was responding, and there was an element of somebody asked, "Hey, can you do this?"
Yeah,
You're like, "Sure, yes, I
sure.
can." And somebody saying, "Can you help me with this problem?" "I can help you with that problem. I'll figure that out." And I think that there's a lot of people who find that that part of the business journey of being able to listen and respond, it's not always something that you can manufacture or like pre-plan for. It's not necessarily show up in the business plan. And yet it keeps coming up for people in businesses for a long time that they're responsive to the needs of those around them. So I
Yeah.
just want to pull that thread to make sure people notice that sometimes it's being ready and available to help people
Yeah.
where they are.
Yeah, even if we don't, we always tell people, if you have a question we don't know the answer, I'll call somebody or I'll connect you with someone. And because we feel like our network is gold. And so we try
Mhm.
to make sure that we're connecting people and seeing if there is a need, what we can do to help people with that need.
I
Hmm.
really like that. There's also something else that you mentioned that I wanted to ask a little bit more about. When you switched from being a paralegal and somebody said, "Hey, Beth, I see something in you and I
Hmm.
think you should go do this other thing." In some ways, that I feel like in recruiting can also carry on to say, "Well, what can I broaden your perspective? Or can I tell you that I see your background here and I think you could be a good fit here?" Do you find that happening a lot? Or how did that
Hmm.
feel in that moment when somebody said, "I see something in you"?
Yeah, I mean, first off, I thought it was amazing because I will tell you some of the worst advice I ever got in working was from my dad. He said, if you just heads down work, your company will take care of you. And I have to disagree with that. I mean, yeah, you need to head down and work hard and do a good job, but you have to look up and get to know people and network because you never know where that next opportunity is going to come from. Example, I had no idea that a client that I used to support from a legal perspective said, "Hey, I think you'd be a really good recruiter." And I was like, "What? Like what did they even do?" But they do a lot of research. I was really good at research. I was good at talking to people and getting information out of them. And so just really sharpening those skills that I had already kind of developed, it was a natural fit for me. When I'm talking to hiring managers and I'm asking them, "What is that one thing that you feel like you absolutely have to have?" And then I start talking to candidates and I feel like I can kind of pull that out. I feel like that's my superpower in terms of recruiting, is just understanding and knowing who's going to be a fit and if they're capable of doing those things. That's what I enjoy.
I love that. I think that's amazing. Okay, so within your work, what does it look like? Like, what does a quote normal Tuesday look like for you? And maybe somebody who's like, I don't know, maybe I want to do that job. Maybe I might be good at this. What kinds of things does that look like?
Yeah, we're not doing rocket science over here. We're not doing brain surgery, but we spend a lot of time talking to to people. We'll talk to candidates, we'll talk to clients, really trying to understand what they're looking for. We always have meetings. On Tuesdays, we have a little staff meeting anyway, but we have opportunities to see, okay, what does that look like for our training business? What does that look like for our coaching business? And then we spend time kind of developing those strategies. We're really lucky. We're very good recruiters that we have hired excellent people to work with us. And so we have some really excellent coaches that will facilitate trainings and, work with as career coaches. A lot of that is spending time trying to figure out where the need is and then where we can place people and what that looks like. But it's a lot of research, a lot of computer, a lot of telephone calls. I'm on the phone literally all day. And then I carve out some time during the week to meet people face to face because that goes so far. And today is really making that connection face to face.
Okay, so if you're on the phone and in conversation with the people a lot of your day, what are you doing outside of work to recharge your battery and to come back into yourself, not just work mode?
Well, I have teenagers, and so we spend a lot of time at sporting events or whatever. They drive now, so that makes it really wonderful, but you have to flip the switch very quickly in terms of, okay, now I'm the mom. And so we'll do usually a quick dinner and then whatever they have going on, and then get to read a book or whatever I'm working on, go into Pilates, those things that are important to me. Try to definitely schedule them and find time for them. It's not always perfect, but we do try to do that.
Hey, I think that that's life though. Even if it's not
Yes.
perfect, it's not abandoning the effort because we can't hit perfection in it.
Yes. The season is different. As your kids get older, I mean, obviously when they were younger, it was a lot bigger of a deal to, you know, I don't have any hobbies because I'm with these kids 24/7, but
Right.
as they get older, you start to kind of be like, "Oh, I can go for a bike ride this afternoon," or "I
Mhm.
can do that," because they can feed themselves and all that other stuff. So, the season of life that I'm in right now is kind of reestablishing, and then once the youngest one goes off to college, I don't know what empty nest will look like, but we'll see.
I have 3 little ones, and I'm definitely in the season where a lot of my free time is naps,
Yes.
and catching up on sleep, so
Yes. Don't underestimate a good nap.
one day I'm sure I'll get to do more of those things, but right now, we'll
Yep.
get there, we'll get
Yep.
there, we do what we can. Again,
Yes.
can't let perfection prevent good efforts at taking care of ourselves. Okay, within your career and work journey, can you share with us a little bit about maybe some hard seasons that you've had and some things that you've learned along the way? I personally have a belief that, like, when we have hard things, if we keep them to ourselves, what was the point of it? Like, what are the lessons that we can share to help encourage other people?
I think one of the things that I felt like was the hardest is one when my kids were really little and I struggled because all my friends were stay-at-home moms and I didn't want to be a stay-at-home mom. And so I was happy to go back to work and try to find a balance there that allowed me to still be available for my children, and so I found that was really hard because I wanted to be present with them, but then I worked at a job that I worked from home. So the lines were blurred. And I know a lot of people feel that way, but it's not easy to work from home. And it's not easy to be a stay at home mom. Like it's easier to drop those kids off and to go into an office every day. So that really trying to figure out that balance and what it looked like for me during that time was a big deal. I think the other time that was just starting a business, like, okay, what do we call? Do we need a website? What do we do with our taxes? All that stuff. And I know a lot of people are entrepreneurs and do it alone. I was so lucky that I had a really great partner that I could bounce ideas off of. And so I know that when we are going through hard things, and we say this all the time, progress over perfection, which is what you've been saying. But if the only way to get through something is to go through it. And so we would talk about those hardships and say, that is normal. This is normal. What you're going through is normal. Because I don't think people talk about that. We tried to tell people. We know that spending money on marketing is expensive and may not warrant anything right away. That's normal. Really talking about that. We created a Business Owners Roundtable, which is free. We host it every other month, and we let people that are solopreneurs or anybody who wants to come we talk about one topic, we facilitate it. We are not teaching anything. We're really just asking questions. And that stemmed from seriously just our passion for wanting to help people that were in the same season of life that we were in. Maybe a startup, maybe questions about their business. Next one's in May, but yeah, that's coming up.
I like that it's not just the problem, but you were like, "We are facing this, and I know we're not alone. What can we do to help others?" Like, that sounds like was the quick response. How can we at least have a room where we can all, like, link arms and say, "This is hard
Yes.
together." Even if we
Yes.
didn't solve it and make it all better and fix all the world's problems, we could at least sit with other people who can understand where we're at and say,
Yes.
I just think that's a really important thing that's happening to say, "Hey, this is normal.
Yes.
You're not special in a good way. Like, you're not doing something wrong. You're
Yeah.
experiencing normal growing pains." I love that. Okay, speaking of support networks, have there been any men in your life that have particularly stood out as big cheerleaders along your journey, and how do they show up for you when it mattered most?
I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about my husband, John Pittman. He is so supportive, and I wouldn't be able to make this life possible if it wasn't for him. He has always said, I think you can do it. You can go and do it. I'm going to support you. Don't worry about the laundry. Don't worry about dinner. Don't worry about picking up the kid. Like whatever I felt like I was falling down on, he would pick up and run with it. And so without him, I really don't know what I would do. And he's always supportive. And so I appreciate that. And I have worked with men throughout my career that have been great and supportive and want to hear my ideas, but nobody supports me like he does.
That's awesome. I love to hear that.
Yeah. Kind of cheesy, but
Oh, but cheesy's cheesy for a reason
cheesy's
because
for
it's
a reason.
good.
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna imagine you're sitting in the room on June 16th
Yeah.
with some of the women there on the panel, both older and younger. What is a question that you would want to ask of them or maybe of other people? What kind of questions would you ask of that panel?
This is a great question because last year was the first year I'd ever been to the Women in Generations, and I loved it. I thought it was so great. I love the different generations. I love hearing about their business and what they saw and the things and then older women, what they saw. I just loved it. So, one of the questions I would ask would be I have a whole list of them would be one, tell me what is the thing that has made you happiest in your career? And so, people can always point when they were super happy. And then, what is the thing that you wouldn't change? It's probably going to still come back to that happiest, or it might not be. We feel like things happen for a reason and we lost a job or moved on from a job for a reason. And then you can't see those reasons until you look back. And so where are the moments that you were the happiest and what are those things that you wouldn't change if you had the opportunity to? Those are the two questions I would ask.
Those are good questions. I like that. Hope they
Mm.
take those and add them to the list for the event.
The panel looks amazing. Like I'm really excited.
Oh, yeah. I think it is going to be well worth everybody to attend and get to hear. And even not just the people on the stage. I love getting to talk with the people sitting at
Oh,
my table with me. And the
yes.
whole room itself is a really great space to be in.
Yes. I even thought last year they had the little networking thing beforehand with the
Hmm.
sponsors, and I went by myself and I was a little nervous, but everybody was so nice and so welcoming. I got to meet lots of new businesses, and then I just thought it was really well put together, and I can be pretty critical, but I just loved it. I thought it was a great event, and I'm excited to see what this year brings.
I love it. Shout out Shannon for
Oh,
all of the great
yes.
work that you did and are doing
Yes.
this year.
Yes.
Amazing.
Shannon's done a great job.
Okay, one of our last couple of questions. Within your industry, do you think that there is still a glass ceiling? How do you feel
Mm.
about that?
I do. I think there's a glass ceiling. I think it might be a little shorter, a little taller, whatever. But as I'm recruiting people on a day to day basis, I see all of the things. Like I
Mhm.
am privy to how much they're paying people, how much benefits are. When I give a woman a job opportunity and I tell a man the same thing, I hear both of those responses, and it's mind-boggling to me that someone who's very much qualified will say, "No, I don't think that's it," or "I have only gone so far because I took time off to raise my children," or, "I can't get promoted. What can you help me do to get promoted?" We started doing, leadership coaching, working with women, and we have seen how that has been really encouraging. We had one woman who was really questioning what she should be doing, how she should be talking, how she should be showing up in the workplace because she felt like she just kept bumping up against that. And so her boss was out. And so she went with some coaching, she went to her leadership and said, "He's out. I'd like to take his role over while he's out. I'd like to get to make more money during this time frame, and I'd like to take on more responsibility." I mean, she had it all mapped out what she wanted to do. She would have never done that had she not had walked through it, had been encouraged and supported beforehand. So I do feel like that coaching, that mentoring is so important for women because we don't naturally think, "Oh, we're qualified for that. We can go to that." And they feel like they're being tapped out. And so
Mm.
all of her requests were met, and she was actually promoted into his position eventually and was doing great things. So I've seen how important the mentor and coaching is. Just like if we wanted to learn how to play the piano, I'm not going to sit down and try to figure it out myself. I'm probably going to hire someone to teach me how to do it. We all pay lots of money to educate our kids on how to hit a ball, and then they drop it in 3 years. But we don't spend that money on ourselves to invest in ourselves how to get to the next level. So, yes, I do feel like the glass ceiling is there. And I feel like nobody thinks about how to get past it other than get a promotion, and they don't know how to get a promotion. So we kind of walk them through what that looks like
I
sometimes,
like
and
that.
I see it.
I I have helped use a similar metaphor when you could pay somebody you want to learn piano. You could watch enough YouTube videos to teach yourself piano.
Yeah.
You're going to be watching hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of video, and you got to find the right person who can teach you, can meet you where you are to find you're going to be piecemealing things together. Where there's a will, there's a way. You could go learn to do it on your own. It's going to take you a lot of time to get there. Whereas if you have a piano teacher who can see what you're doing versus just watching somebody else, this is going to help you kind of a lot more, a lot
Yeah.
faster. You're going to be able to learn how to play piano. You'll have hot cross buttons downs in no time. Like,
Absolutely. And so we don't think about that. We think about spending that money, and I've been guilty of it. Like
mm,
my kids, they get, whatever they need. You need to pass a math test, let's get tutoring for that. But we don't ever think about, okay, I need to be able to run a meeting better, or
mhm,
I need to be able to talk to my supervisor better. And those are so important to shattering that glass ceiling because it creates
mhm.
confidence in what they're doing. And that to me is what would help kind of go beyond that glass ceiling. But yeah, I do feel like it still exists today.
Thank you for sharing.
Mhm.
Okay, we're going to start to wrap up our episode. I've got a couple of rapid fire questions for you.
Okay.
So, when you were a kid, what job did you want to do?
I wanted to be a lawyer.
Okay. And
Yeah.
then it was in law school or
Well,
or it was in school when you became a paralegal that you were like,
mhm.
"Wait, maybe attorney's not for me?"
Yes. When I started working with attorneys, I was like, I don't know that I want to work in this field anymore.
Interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
well, these are the rapid fire, so I'm not gonna dig in too much there.
Okay.
Even though that sounds like it is ripe for a glass of wine and a good conversation on that one. Next question. Beach, mountains, city, or staycation?
Beach.
Mm, the right answer every time. I love it. Okay, a bonus is hitting your account today. You can decide how much. What is the first thing you're gonna go do with it?
Probably a vacation to the beach.
I
Yeah.
like it. That's a good.
Yeah.
Can you describe your work wardrobe in 3 words?
Oh, yeah. It's black, a black blazer, black I just feel more confident in black. It's kind of like you're putting on the cape, so black, 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 black.
I love it. I like it. All right. What is a goal that you have that maybe you haven't told a lot of people about Would you be willing to share with us?
Yeah, this is so funny. I want to start a construction company.
Hmm. Oh my
I
goodness.
know,
That's
right?
exciting.
Wouldn't you love to have a woman construction manager?
Yes. Yes, I
Yeah.
would.
Yes. So, yeah, I think I could hire the right people. I think I could run a construction company. So, I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever, but I have been thinking about it for a while.
Okay, so then, like, why not? I don't know.
Well,
Run
yeah.
experiments. Let it be a side hustle. See what
Yeah,
happens.
I have thought about that. So, always start your side hustle and let it grow into something. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know.
We'll see.
We'll
Okay.
see.
Well, we'll stay tuned to see Beth Pittman Construction Company, name to be determined.
Yeah.
I love it.
Probably
Well,
be skills
thanks.
lab. Yeah.
Thanks so much for being a part of this conversation and for saying yes to join the Her Story podcast.
Well, thank you for asking me. I appreciate it. It's been fun.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks everyone for listening and tune in next time to hear the next story on the podcast.